guys, JoySparklebS, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm half excited to respond to this and half like, oh my god, I don't want to, I'm just gonna get irritated. So this has been long awaited for me, probably not for y'all, but for me. I have been waiting to respond to part 2 of Peter's I apologize. The first one, if you guys remember, was a damn mess, and I did that video, and here's the second one. So I looked at it and I went, oh my god, it's 18 minutes, it's really long, and I was wrong, it's over 25 minutes. So y'all, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, strap on in, buckle up, hold on, this is gonna be a long video. I know some of you guys like long videos, I like doing the longer videos, but they're exhausting at the same time. I don't know if it's that way for y'all, but if you don't like long videos, this isn't the video for you. 25 minutes. Oh my god. Okay, and we're gonna respond to every ounce of it, and I'm gonna have some receipts and evidence in there too. So, alright, let's do part 2 of PeterMonn's My First PR Strategy Didn't Work Hypocrite. Monn. Wait, I said PeterMonn. Never mind, I was trying to be clever. Okay, let's look into it.
Hey you guys, it's Peter, and let's talk about these tweets. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in here and I'm like shaking. I'm just gonna go in and address these tweets, okay? Everybody wants to know about these tweets. Everybody's talking about it, on and on and on, and I just think that it's gonna continue until I get on here and I just completely own the tweet by tweet by tweet. I'm gonna group them together. I'm not gonna necessarily read every tweet. I'm not gonna explain all of them away. But one of the things that has happened in the last couple days is that a lot of people have come to me, or a lot of people have said, or I've seen it said, that context does matter. And sometimes I believe that and sometimes I don't. I think sometimes disgusting words that are used just don't ever need to surface. I think that's the case with some of my tweets. I think in other cases, context does matter.
Peter, I find it really interesting that context matters for you, but in my case, when I explained this is a very sarcastic comment of me being angry that people were calling me a racist, you didn't care about context with me. You jumped right on that bandwagon with no remorse, and from my opinion, you were predatory to somebody you thought had mental health issues. But no, it's okay. For you, some of the context matters. For me, let's just make fun of me. Let's just make fun of somebody mentally ill. Right, Counselor Peter?
And so I'm going to be explaining a little bit of both in there today. The reason I'm making this video is because
your first BS attempt didn't work because people aren't stupid?
I think a lot of people think I'm a total hypocrite, and maybe I am, you know? Maybe I came for all these people and I had a bunch of shit hidden, you know? I don't know, you know, like...
And I feel like this is how he gets out of stuff. He goes, oh, maybe I'm a hypocrite, maybe this, maybe that, I don't know, you know? I think you do know, Peter, yes. You're an insane hypocrite to come for everybody else and call them racist, but when you know, context matters sometimes, and you don't know if you're a hypocrite. This is your way of saying, well, I owned it. No, you're not owning it, Peter. If you're ending it with, I don't know, that seems like a manipulative tactic to me. And you know what sucks? I'm not saying he's the devil, where he's like, I don't know that he's intentionally trying to do this stuff. I just think the way he communicates in general, it's very manipulative to me. And I'm not sure if he's even aware of it. Maybe he is, but I'm at least gonna give that credit. I don't know if he's aware of it.
I didn't know it was back there. I really didn't, and people are so surprised when I say that.
They're so surprised when you say that because in the other video, we heard this.
So, I kind of knew that this was gonna happen. I kind of had a feeling this was gonna happen.
So you had a feeling that your tweets were about to be outed, but you didn't know what was back there. So which one is it, Peter?
Like I have said in all of my videos, like we've all put shit out there, and a lot of people are like, well, I've never put that. Okay, well, I can only speak for myself. I've put shit out there. I knew that I had put shit out there in the past that I wasn't proud of.
You just said you didn't know what was back there, and now you said you know you've put stuff out there that you're not proud of. And you don't just speak for yourself. You speak for everybody else that you come for, calling them racist who didn't say nearly the crap you did, Peter.
When I was using, when I was sober, when I was 20, when I was 40, when I was 45. I've said things, you know, just in the last year that I'm not proud of, okay? That doesn't, you know, make it right that I said those things because I was a certain age or whatever, and yes, I should have known better.
You did know better. In fact, you told us you knew better in the last video. Take a look at this clip.
Needless to say, all of them, I would say, could be considered inappropriate. I'm not proud of the tweets. When I look back at them, I'm like, oh my God, did you really say that? They're totally inappropriate. I've learned a lot in my life today. And I was 40 years old at the time that I posted these videos. So yes, I knew well enough how to speak to the people.
So here we learned that you did know how to speak to people and you did know better. Now you're saying, well, I should have known better. You did know better, Peter. See, Peter, you're the kind of person where you talk and talk and talk and talk, and you don't think people, you talk so much, you don't realize you out yourself. You don't realize you out things going on around you. And you think you can put on a big show and display, and then it can kind of razzle dazzle people and get your attention here and get your attention here, and people don't see it and don't look. We're not stupid. People were angry at your first video because we heard what you're saying, even if you're not aware of what you're saying.
And I'm a hypocrite because I say one thing in one video and I act a different way. So maybe I am a hypocrite, and I feel like I've let a lot of people down. And you know, the thing that's hardest for me, I will tell you, is not really any kind of effect that this would have on my YouTube channel or anything, but the fact that so many people that had faith in me are now questioning that faith.
Actually, I think it is both. So let's go over the faith part. So many people that have faith in me feel let down. Translation, I think that you are terrified of having anybody lose respect or have any negative feelings for you, because again, in my opinion, you are completely addicted to the attention that you get on YouTube, from the attention that comes from other people and not the self-love that comes from within. So for you, it's just a huge blow to have anybody that you like, you're trying to social climb off of, dislike you, because deep down you haven't accepted love in yourself. It comes from external stuff. And then there's other things, like he says again, he's like, maybe I'm a hypocrite. That's not owning being a hypocrite. Maybe I am. You know you are. You're actually giving examples of how you're a hypocrite. So when you say maybe, that leaves room open for you to say that you are not, if that makes sense. And to me, that's not owning your shit. I do think you're worried this is going to affect your YouTube channel. I think that's why you gave the BS PR apology to begin with. I think that's exactly why you did that, because you are concerned. And I also think part of the people had faith in me and lost respect and lost faith in me is you are terrified of these YouTubers that you social climb off of turning their backs on you. Because I think somewhere in you, you are scared you can't grow this channel just on your own with a bunch of shout outs from other people and being buddies and then trying to control your group of people or the group of YouTubers that you work with.
You know, in all of my videos, I talk about the amends process because I'm a person in recovery. And I talk in there about, like, you know, when you make an apology or when you do this, there's things you need to do. And I say, what you do is, and I even joke about it, and I say it's almost kind of like scripted, right? You go in and you say what you did, okay? You apologize for it. You take responsibility for the actions. You explain it, and then you say it won't happen again, and then you show that it won't happen again.
Which is exactly what you didn't do the first time around. Interesting little tell. Did you hear he said I laugh about it, it's funny because it's kind of scripted. Peter, does that mean the one we got, is that your way of saying it's just a PR stunt, it was kind of scripted? Because there was no emotion behind that. It just seemed like you didn't really care about what you put out there. You just wanted to, you know, have it blow over and go away quickly. So is this just some scripted stunt? So the video before you said was you owning it. So are you now admitting that you didn't actually own it back then? Is that what we're hearing? And furthermore, Peter, a lot of people tried to tell you how your tweets came across. A lot of people. And you do this thing, because I saw you do it with Petty Paige, where if you disagree, you just completely disrespect what somebody else is saying. Again, I don't trust that this isn't a scripted PR stunt. It sucks, because I don't want to paint him as like, oh, the awful devil Peter, but just from all the actions and everything I've seen, I just don't trust what he's saying.
So that's what I'm going to do in this video today, because quite frankly, I don't know what else to do. I really don't, okay? All I know is that the last couple days, the last 2 days, I haven't slept real well. I'm really fucking ashamed of myself. You know, I had this moment last night. One of the tweets is referencing something to do with my mom, and I thought, and it's actually a tweet that's been taken out of context, and I'm going to explain that one. And it's interesting because I thought to myself, you know, if my mom was here right now, what would my mom say? And I'm very, very thankful that I have some friends in my life that, you know, I've always said that a true friend will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And, you know, my best friend, she kind of doesn't really get the YouTube thing. She doesn't really get the social media thing. She gets inappropriate statements, so we've talked about that. But, you know, I have a really good friend of mine on YouTube, and I was talking to her, and she was very direct with me, and I needed to hear it. And in the last couple hours, I've talked to 2 of my friends on YouTube, and both of them were like, just get on the video and fucking own it, okay? You did it, just own it. And that's absolutely right. I just need to own it. Because there's really nothing else that I can do. But You know, I said to my husband yesterday, we were texting back and forth, and he said, you know, like, he was like, are you doing okay? Like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to, like, figure out, like, what to say, you know, like, how to apologize best for this, because people have lost faith in me. And he was like, just be honest. That's how you live your life, you know?
You can't say that you're a hypocrite and then say you're honest and that's how you live your life. Like, you can't do that. So, and if that's true that your boyfriend did say that, then it sounds like he's enabling bad behavior. Because you can't have bad behavior, be a hypocrite, and scream at everybody else for their bad behavior, and then say, well, I should own it because I'm just a good, honest person. Because these type of behaviors don't make you an honest person, Peter. Even in the last video, he talked about talking behind people's backs and stuff. Peter, that's really petty, shitty things to do to people. That's not being a good person. I don't think you understand what it is to be a good person. It's like you want to play both sides of the fence when it benefits you, but then you can't understand what happens when people see you playing both sides of the fence while screaming at everybody else on what they should do when you're not doing it, and then you're mean to everybody else about it. That's called karma, Peter.
And I said, you know, to be honest, I'm glad it came out. Like, I really am, you know? Like, I'm tired of, like, I just feel like it's this shit of, like, you know, what is out there that I wasn't aware of, if that makes sense. You know, like, I haven't really lived that scrupulous of a life past my recovery. So, did I know that I had said some really shitty things out there in the world? Absolutely.
Like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm pissed that I feel like I keep catching him up in crap that there's no way to, in my opinion, yet. Here's the back and forth. You didn't know that it was out there, but you know you've said shitty things. Like, Peter, which one is it? Like, what's exhausting to hear is the back and forth, and you're like, I'm glad it came out because it's kind of exhausting. Is it because you knew this stuff was there and you were hiding it, hoping nobody would see it and were paranoid about it? Because I'm tired of the back and forth. Which one is it, honey?
In my past, I've had a really ugly, dark sense of humor, and at times, highly disgusting and inappropriate. So I just was like, fucking get on video, Peter. They want to hear about these tweets. Talk about the tweets.
You know, I'm gonna say right now, there's nothing wrong with dark, disgusting humor. I love a good dead baby joke. Like, I do a lot of dark humor. In fact, that's what got me in trouble before, because a lot of people don't understand that. And that's fine. Like, I don't think anybody should be scared of having dark humor, because humor is something we need. And sometimes, like, my opinion is humor is, that's bringing something to light or trying to find something good or joyful in something disgusting. It's, in New Age terms, transmuting the energy. God, transmutation. Like, it's trying to lighten the load of something that's absolutely disgusting. I don't think there's anything wrong with that in the right appropriate context. But what I don't like, Peter, what I don't like is the backpedaling and the lies and the hypocrisy we keep seeing from you. What I don't like is you screaming at other people, you're an a-hole, this is how you need to live your life, and I'm gonna passive-aggressively backhand you, and you can't say anything back because I'm passive-aggressive doing it. And then you go do whatever you want. And we get these BS, you know, stunts. So I'm really curious to hear how he's gonna explain this stuff away.
And let me tell you a little bit of what happened, because I do want to explain this. And the reason I made the video the other day the way that I made it was this, okay? I made it like 6 minutes and 30 seconds because I had said in videos that we don't need you to get on and explain away all this shit, right? Just get on and own it. That was why I did that, okay? Number two, I didn't go in and explain all the tweets because I thought, what can you really say on video that's going to change anybody's opinion, right? Like, once they read the tweet, they've already made their opinion. And the reality is that everybody out there has made an opinion on these already, you know? And the one interesting thing to me is, with the exception of like a couple people, nobody's really reached out to me and said something to me about how they felt about this. I've seen a lot of formed opinions. And, you know, when you live in a public platform like this, you guys have every right to make an opinion about me. You have every right to do that based on what I choose to put out there in the world. So, you know.
The whole last minute, what did any of that even mean? So this is, you're explaining away why you didn't want to say something, because again, you've hyper-criticized people's apology videos over and over and over again. Peter, the difference is you've been screaming at other people what pieces of shit they are and how to live their life, and you've been hiding things 10 times worse. That's why it's more important that you give a detailed explanation and a truthful one. That's the difference between you and other people.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other night when all this started going down, and you know, I'm talking to her on the phone, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, you need to make a video and you need to own it. This is what you would expect somebody else to do. And I said, you're right, I do. I need to get on video. And while I was filming my video, another video was posted. So that video wasn't in response to another video. And I think anybody that knows what I follow would know that I had no clue that that person's video was going to be coming up, you know? But whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then a lot of other people are saying, you know, you didn't address this until you got caught. Well, I didn't really, honestly, know that there were this many shitty, disgusting tweets that I just didn't, you know?
Begin with the back and forth. Which one is it? You knew you said stuff, or you didn't know, and you just didn't know how much? I don't know what to believe with him.
I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. It's not how I choose to live my life today, but maybe that's who I was at one point. And I need to take a look at that, you know? I need to take a look at, this is maybe who I was, or this is who I was when I was tweeting those things out. And why did I tweet those things out? And like, what can I learn from it? What do I need to go back and change? So I put out some really, really disgusting, shameful tweets into the world. If I offended you, I apologize. The reason why I don't say I'm sorry, and I say this in a lot of my videos, is because to me, I'm sorry means nothing except for forget what I just did.
But in the last video, you said you're sorry. So did that mean just forget what you did and you're not really sorry? My other question is, who screwed you up on the word I'm sorry? Who was it in your life that said I'm sorry over and over again and just let you down? Because this is the first time I've heard that. Or maybe it's like, I know he's a recovering addict. Maybe that's something in recovery they say. I don't know. I don't know anything about recovering addicts. I don't know. I'm just curious, like, who screwed you up on the word I'm sorry? And again, does that mean the last video was then bullshit?
My dad taught me that, because when I would say I'm sorry to him in the past, he would say, you just want me to forget what you did. I'm not going to get on video and do something different because somebody wants to hear me say I'm sorry. I'm sorry means nothing to me.
Okay, now it makes more sense. So when you screwed up, I'm assuming you're an addict, and you told your dad you were sorry, he said that means nothing to me. Honey, it's not because of the word I'm sorry. It's because of your actions. It's because of your hypocritical actions. It's not about the actual sorry word. It's about you.
I take ownership and I apologize for what I did. So let's talk about what I did, okay? I'm going to go in here and I'm going to group these tweets together. I do want to say this. Any tweet with the word ghetto in it was disgusting and inappropriate and should never been put out in the world, and I apologize for that. In any context, okay? That word should not have been used. So I'm going to go into that one. There's been a lot of questions about my political beliefs in here. This is interesting to me. I mean, you know, I think, and I don't know why, like, I'm kind of surprised at some point that this hasn't come out, but if you watch my vlogs, a lot of these tweets have even been referenced in my vlogs. I've talked about some of these things in my vlogs. You know, I think it's no secret how I feel politically about the world.
Actually, I think it is important. I think it's important to know what you think politically, because you act like a liberal SJW while we see all these Republican tweets from the past. So I don't watch your vlogs. I am really curious, what's your political affiliation? Because I'm curious what's real, if you've changed, or if you're completely full of shit. And, you know, it's good to hear him apologize about the ghetto comment. I don't know that I have as much an opinion about that, because I feel like there were a lot worse things, but hey, at least he owned up to one of them. I don't know if it's real or not, but at least he did.
So, like I said, I'm not going to go in and address each tweet with the word ghetto. They're disgusting, all of them. And I should never have tweeted them, and I apologize.
Quick side comment though, your boyfriend also used that term for people as well. Like, let's not forget, your boyfriend has used that term as well. So what's the situation there? And I know people might get mad and say don't drag him into this, but here's the thing. He's going on Twitter and trying to fight people as a result of Peter, and sometimes puts himself in videos and stuff. So to me, it's fair game. And remember, Peter said he can tell a lot about you by the friends you keep and the people around you. So what's that say about your boyfriend when he was using that language too? Is that something he still does? Just things I'm curious about.
Okay, so on June 13th, 2011, I retweeted. This person said, Barack Obama, the first black man in history who had to convince the world that he did kill someone. That was in reference to a month prior to that. that they had killed Osama bin Laden, and that there was a lot of political discussion about that at the time in 2011 of who found him. So that was in reference to that. I voted for President Obama. I'm not embarrassed to say that on video. I've tried to not talk much about religion or politics on my videos, but I'm not afraid to stand behind my beliefs. I went in, I voted for President Obama proudly.
But you have a lot of Republican tweets in there, so that makes me kind of confused. And you know what? Here's the thing, guys. Like, I honestly don't give a shit. I don't like politics. I think both sides of the spectrum are stupid. I really do. I think it's all this really big, awful staged musical theater that we're forced to watch once every 4 years. And I think it's all bullshit. I'm one of those people. I'm like, they're all full of shit.
And then this next tweet is with, I don't want to say the word because I don't use the word today. I don't. The N-I-G-G-A. And it was in reference to what somebody else had said. And I could go in and I could explain I do remember the context of that and my relationship with that person. I'm not going to put that person on blast. I'm not willing to do that to somebody else. It was disgusting that I tweeted that word out. That specifically, if my mother was sitting here, she would say, I taught you better than this. And you need to own your shit. So that tweet is disgusting. And then there's other things on here that are, any use of the word hood is completely inappropriate. And
I'll give credit where it's due. He owned up for it, which, you know, I think is a good thing. Also, if you hear my voice sound funny and you see my eyes watering, I'm not emotional. As I was listening to this, like something came up in my throat and I coughed and it went down in my lungs. And it burns. And I lost my voice for a second. Ah! So if I look funny for a couple minutes, don't worry, everything's all right. I'm not getting emotional. Just trying to get my throat to work. But yeah, I mean, you know, give credit where it's due. At least he owned that part. Good job.
There's a tweet in here saying, okay, I'm going into a meeting with monkeys, call you in an hour, love. So I just actually talked about this on my vlog last week. You know, any of these tweets, you guys are going to take with it and run, or you're going to believe it, or you're not going to believe it. I'm just putting out there my truth, okay? What you do with it is up to you. I'm not trying to change your opinion about things. People want to know the context of the tweet, so I'm telling you. I actually just talked about this in a vlog about a week ago. I had a friend of mine. She and I had a common friend that every time we asked her to do something, she would always say, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting. There is a recovery saying that something like, when the carnival leaves town, the monkeys stay, meaning that there's always chaos and blah, blah, blah. It is not a racial slur. My friend, every time that we would talk about this girl and we would ask her to go do something, she would say, I'm in meetings, and then my friend would say, she's in meetings with monkeys, referencing this recovery saying, okay?
See, and that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. But Peter, because we keep seeing inconsistencies and you going back and forth on stuff, I think it's really hard for the viewer to look at this, especially like, I'll speak from my perspective. It's really hard for me to look at this and know what's true at this point. But, you know, I'm gonna cut you some slack. Maybe that is the case. I'm not an addict. I don't know. It's just with all the other tweets, everything just looks really suspect. But maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't about that. I can, you know, give a little slack here.
So that's what it's talking about in there. I literally, about a week and a half ago, having no clue that this tweet was out there, talked about it in my vlog. The comment about, see, this is where I have to get real political, but I guess I don't have a problem with that today, obviously. The comment about abortion is completely inappropriate. I have absolutely no idea of the context whatsoever. Could I guess and tell you that I was, you know, probably having some conversation standing in a bar with somebody? Sure, I have no idea. I really don't. It was disgusting and it was inappropriate. I have been and I am and have been for quite some time a believer in pro-choice. And am not much of a believer, love me or hate me, that, you know, as a gay man, I have much of a right to tell a woman what to do with her body.
And I have no criticism here. In fact, I really respect this from him. I very much respect when men will look at you, and I've had this happen in a few relationships, and they'll say, you know, I'm not a woman, it's not my body, it shouldn't be my choice. And that's absolutely correct. Because men have no idea the hell that women go through. Hi, baby. They have no idea the hell we go through with our bodies, with our hormones, with our lack of health care, with people's lack of understanding of how our bodies work, you know, with childbirth, with pregnancy, with all of that. So that I can really appreciate. But here's something else I want to say. I want to give the full context of this tweet since he didn't actually really explain much of it or put it up. So let's take a look at it. I may believe in a woman's right to an abortion, but I also believe in not getting foolishly drunk to end up in that condition for many as well. So it's like everything I just said about how that's awesome and how you look at abortion because it should be a woman's right. Women should figure these things out on their own because it's our bodies just went down the tubes. See, I could logic it away. I could brush it off. I could understand if in this situation it was a joke. But there's no joke to this. There's no joke. You were sharing an opinion. And your opinion is, while women have the right, don't get sloppy drunk and put yourself in that position. Peter, is that what you think of women? Do you think most women who get abortions, it's because we just went out clubbing and got sloppy drunk? Peter, a lot of women don't go out clubbing. A lot of women don't go in that situation. Sometimes, and you would have no comprehension of how this works because you have the privilege of not having to worry about reproduction because you're gay. You want to talk about white privilege and privilege, you have that privilege. Whereas women, the responsibility is 100%, I'm going to have to educate Peter on how women's bodies work. The responsibility is 100% on us to protect ourselves from pregnancy. I mean, men can wear condoms, but that doesn't always do it. You know what, Peter? Sometimes birth control don't work. The pill doesn't work. The IUD is defective. That happens. Or how about if somebody gets raped? What if somebody gets raped, Peter, because the guy was sloppy drunk or just an asshole? Did you ever think about that? I just find it interesting that Peter shares this opinion that, you know, the women that have abortions, it's because you just went out and got sloppy drunk and you put yourself there. A lot of victim shaming, isn't it, Peter? A lot of victim shaming coming from you who shamed me because of my white privilege. The hypocrisy goes stronger and stronger every day. I'm just laughing at how absolutely ridiculous this is. There was no punchline. In my opinion, Peter, you think these things. You think these things and you got caught thinking them. Period. And I can't believe that you are that far ill-versed on how women's bodies works. Granted, you're gay. I don't know if you've ever been with women. You probably haven't ever had to worry about contraception. But the fact that you can call yourself liberal and still have those nasty judgments, the fact that you can say that you are for social justice and voice those absolute nasty judgments on women, then turn around and mock me for being sick because of my birth control, makes you not only a hypocrite, but an asshole. It really does.
So why I ever fucking tweeted that out, I have no idea. It's disgusting. Now, there were several tweets to Ann Coulter, and people were saying that I was sucking Ann Coulter's dick. I can't stand Ann Coulter. I've talked about this in my vlog as well. It's a running joke between my dad and I, because my dad used to be a fan of hers. He is no longer. And, you know, like, he used to talk about, oh, Ann Coulter, the ideal. I can't stand Ann Coulter, okay? I cannot stand her at all. So, there was a tweet where she tweeted, well, hold on, I'll come to it in a second, because it's not on this one. It's retweeted down there. But anyway, to this one person, I said, no, it was an honest question. Wow, you're paranoid. Are you sure you're not a Democrat? It wasn't said, are you sure you're not a Democrat? Like, you're, you know, why aren't you Republican? It was like this person was coming for Democrats. Okay, this is why I don't get political on social media anymore, because things are taken out of context sometimes.
It's hard to believe this again because we see you do so much, like, you're really putting a lot of effort and energy into social climbing, which I have a video, if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out, about him trying to, like, climb the social ladders and stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to believe that, and you know, and again, it's like everybody jokes differently. Maybe he was trying to make a weird sarcastic joke. You know, he has come after me for weird sarcastic defensive jokes. God, it just makes me so, the hypocrisy makes me just infuriated when I talk about it. But you know, maybe that's the case, but there were so many tweets where it just seems like he's a closet Republican, to be honest with you. And there's nothing wrong with being a gay Republican. If that's who you are, just fucking be it. Want to live an honest life. If you're a gay Republican, go be a gay Republican. There's nothing wrong with that.
And then this person said, Obama, you didn't get elected president. Someone, Oprah, did that for you. And I retweeted it and said, amen. I don't think it's any mystery that I am a huge, I love Oprah. I absolutely do. I quote her all the time. I've learned a lot from her. And I do believe that Oprah had a lot to do with Obama's presidency and his election. I mean, not his presidency, but his getting elected. And I'm proud of her for that. I think that that's awesome that she has that kind of power to do something good in our world. So I don't have a problem standing behind that statement. I don't feel like that was a nasty statement.
We know how much you love Oprah because you think that you are the Oprah of YouTube. You are trying to be the white gay Oprah of YouTube. So you don't have to sell it to us. We know you love Oprah. You just don't do Oprah as well as you think you do Oprah. And okay, let's be honest, maybe it's not. Maybe what he's saying is correct. Maybe he really thinks that Oprah helped get him elected and he was retweeting it because that's what he thinks and it wasn't shady. Like, okay, I can see that point. I can concede to that.
I said to somebody that it's 2010, Obama's president, you can be whatever you want to be. And then he said something about me in there. And it was actually a retweet. Oh, I just said LOL. But I do, you know, like back then it was like in 2010, we had the first African-American president in our country. And it was like, wow, like the possibilities are unimaginable. We may have marriage equality now. We may, you know, there are so many things that are possible that weren't possible before. And that was how I felt in 2010, was that anything's possible, you know? And then I tweeted something, the real Roseanne said, nobody dares hurt Obama's feelings, and I retweeted and said, amen. I think Roseanne and her recent actions are disgusting. I've made that very clear. I used to love her TV show. Why I ever retweeted that, I don't know. I'm baffled by it as you are.
I don't know if you're that baffled by it, honey, because I think you're a closet Republican. I think that once again, what we're seeing is you just putting out the persona to the world. And here's the shitty part. It's like, on the one hand, I've got memory issues from fibromyalgia, so I don't want to knock somebody's memory. But on the other hand, all that I know about him from what I've seen is that he has, you know, he's has tendencies for epileptic seizures and that sort of thing, which is awful. You know, I'm not taking that away from him. But I don't think that affects your memory in the way fibromyalgia and brain fogs do, right? So, on the flip side though, I can also argue, like I argue several different points in my head. And another point that I can argue with this is that, you know, it's possible that because it was so long ago, he just doesn't remember every single tweet and why he made it. And I can get that. Like that's, you know, again, I want to give credit where it's due. I'm not just like, oh, you're evil and I hate you. Like, you know, I still believe he's a human being, even though I disagree with a lot of the bullshit that he said and done. And what he keeps continuing to do, and what I think he's lying at. I don't know though. I don't know. I really think in this one, I think he's trying to hide the fact that he's got Republican beliefs. That's what I think. Like, I'm just gonna stick with what I think at this point. I think he's trying to hide around it. Maybe he doesn't remember it, but it's not about whether or not he remembers it. It's just, everything I've seen points to, I think he really is deep down a Republican, or at least he was, and it's like, okay, if you were, just own up. But see, I think he knows to cater to that, you know, drama and the beauty guru audience, you have to be extreme liberal SJW. So he's playing to that audience, in my opinion. Again, I think he's covering this up because it's a business decision.
So, number 9, this is a tweet that somebody put up. While growing up, our neighbor's dog's name was Sambo. He was a black poodle. My mom called him Samuel because she thought it was racist. I'm not really sure why this tweet has come up, honestly. It's a true story. We did have a neighbor that had a black poodle whose name was Sambo. For many of you that out there might know, historically, that word is, there is a children's story named after that. My mom thought it was disgusting that they had named their dog that. And so she would refer to him as Samuel because that was who my mom was. So I don't understand how that, I don't even know why that's sitting here on this list of things.
I think it's come up because in the, you know, African American, people of color, whatever you want to say, you know, whatever term you want to use for that, I think a lot of them can see that term just as bad as the N word. So the fact that you even put the story out there and didn't censor that word, that's how it's perceived in your SJW community, just to put that out there. I think that's sitting there because to tell that story in the way you did as a tweet with all the other tweets looks highly inappropriate from your standards and your hypocrisy in what you bitch about with everybody else. That's why people brought it up and don't like it.
If we had known that mini bar was free, I would have eaten 24/7, and to think that stupid Mexican boy had a boyfriend, Gmas. Okay, so I said in here that I'm going to have to talk about some things that I'm not proud of, that I might have to hurt some people and things like that. My mother passed away in 2008. Prior to that, I went to Las Vegas, Nevada with a friend of mine. I had a family friend that sent us out there on this trip. I've actually talked about this at length on my vlog. While I was there, I met somebody that worked at the counter at the Bellagio. And when I met him, I talked to him and I introduced myself to him like after we first met, because I had my friend go and take him this letter and say, hey, I'd like to take you for a drink. I found him extremely attractive. And so I said to him, blah, 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 whatever. And we exchanged names like when we like first met. And his last name, I said, your last name is interesting. And he said, it's Mexican. I'm a Mexican boy. And I said, oh. And so that was how my friend and I referred to him. He was Mexican. My husband is Venezuelan. I didn't mean anything derogatory about that. I saw him the whole week that I was there. I really fell in love with this guy quickly. I was not in a great state in my head at that time. This has really nothing to do with the tweet. But when I got home, I tried to call and call and call and call him, and he wouldn't return my calls. A year later, I found out that the entire time that I had been seeing this guy in Las Vegas, that he had a boyfriend that he was living with. He asked me to not mention it again and whatever, and not contact him. And I said, I'm not a homewrecker, so hey, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't know this at the time, you know, whatever. And so I tweeted to my friend, oh, we also did not know that the minibar was free because our friend was paying for the room. And so I tweeted her, if we had only known the minibar was free, I would have eaten 24/7. And to think that stupid Mexican boy had a boyfriend, I didn't mean it derogatory. If it comes across that way, I apologize. It was just me tweeting to a friend about a situation that had happened to us.
And this is where it gets to why I can't stand Peter. Peter went off on me in that sarcastic, joking comment I said because I was mad that people were calling me racist. And I'm the kind of person where sometimes when I joke, it's very dry, it's incredibly sarcastic, and like if you said something, I would say something 10 times crazier to show you how silly you're being. That's how I joke sometimes, right? Peter, you went off on me for that. You went off on other people for stuff, and yet you referred to him as the Mexican boy. From what you say, Peter, that devalues him, and you are only focused on his race, and as the SJW culture says, you're fetishizing, I can't say, fetishizing him. That's what it sounds like you're doing. He's more than a race, Peter. He's more than just being Mexican. So that's where it pisses me off, and you're like, here's a story, that's it, don't know why people are offended, because you can't call other people racist for lesser things, and then run around just referring to people by their race. That, in return from your own logic, looks racist. Furthermore, you said you're not a homewrecker, and he doesn't want to talk about it and put it out there, and then you went and put it out there. Similar to like what you did with your clients. I think you owe him an apology, Peter. You're not a homewrecker, but you're an attention whore, and you will attention whore to be a homewrecker, right? You're not gonna wreck the home for the sake of wrecking the home, but you will for the attention. How does that make sense?
And then to this friend of mine, I had said, food stamps and pleather boots, thug princess forever. Okay, so I had a friend of mine that while she was in school, she was on food stamps. She told me one night, and I did not like this, that she was using food stamps to buy a new pair of leather boots because she exchanged some money from her food stamps for a friend that needed them, who paid her for it. And then she said, well, I'm a thug princess, and that was why I tweeted that. I can go in here, oh, wait. There's like 10 tweets with me using the word ghetto. Something to the effect of me causing...
So it's okay to call people thugs, because by your own social justice warrior logic that you like to follow, the term thug is always referring, because I actually looked this up and researched this one, and there's an upcoming video on why with Peter. The term thug refers to, it's another way of negatively talking about minorities or people of color, whatever term you want to use. So yeah, you just talk about the tweet and then move on, but are you sorry for using the word thug? And Peter, do you think you should be able to refer to somebody as a thug? Just a question. Because by your own logic, that can be interpreted as racist.
Calling Miss Texas while I was watching a beauty pageant a whore, totally disgusting. I should never have done that. Ann Coulter said, if Democrats were Republicans, Chris Kalinas would be Obama's spokesperson. I said to Ann Coulter, if Democrats were Republicans, our economy would be fixed, which is what I believed at that time. I think our economy is all kinds of fucked up right now. That was not me kissing Ann Coulter's ass. But, you know, like, That was me saying to Ann Coulter, you know, like, she's saying if Republicans like Chris Quinto would be a Obama spokesperson, and I'm saying back to her, if Democrats or Republicans, our economy would be fixed. And so it was a sarcastic treatment. It was a sarcastic statement. Okay, after watching the video back, there were a few things that I left out that I need to include, and I'm trying to make this video as inclusive as possible, that I address every issue that's come up, and I want it all in one video. I will say this, there is one minor edit that I put in there because I mentioned someone's name, and I'm not dragging them into that, so I edited their name out of that. But I don't have the tweets in front of me, but as I was watching it back, I remembered several tweets that had been brought to my attention. One was several tweets using the word FAG. I have mentioned in a lot of my videos that I choose not to use that word today because I don't feel like it empowers me, because it was a word that was used against me offensively when I was growing up. There was a time that I did use that word. I'm not proud of it. And when I saw those tweets come up, I didn't really know in reference to what they were. So I don't remember the context of that word, why I used it. I'm not proud of it being out there. And I'm ashamed that I used that word.
You know, I'm not hearing an apology for every single tweet, but at least he'll own up a little bit. He'll be like, I said this, I'm ashamed. Some of them he just says it and then just goes on, like the thug comment. I'm still not over that thug comment. I'm curious if he's gonna circle back to that, but at least he's owning up for some of it. I will give credit where it's due.
The next tweet was, and this was kind of the tweet that everything had started with, so I'm kind of surprised that I didn't have it in my string of tweets. But that was where I had said something about people that were ugly or people that stink. It was cruel, it was insensitive, it was shitty. I should never have said it. I don't know what context it was in and what reference. I have no idea whatsoever. And I apologize for that as well. And then the other...
I'm curious about your boyfriend though, because I've seen the picture of your boyfriend, I think it was on his Instagram, took a picture of someone in, I think it was a library, and being like, oh my god, look at this nasty overweight person, he just farted, it stinks, oh he's so gross, ugly, blah blah blah, just going on and on about what a nasty fucking human being this person is. So when does your boyfriend get to own up for any of that stuff if he's gonna fight your battles? Is he still the same person? Because remember, you can tell a lot by the people you keep around you, right, Peter? Does that include your husband, or does that exclude anybody that you don't want to talk about?
Tweet was something to the effect of girls that hook up with guys for money. It as well was cruel and insensitive, and I apologize for it. I have no idea the context of that as well. And that's part of the problem in going back and looking at all of these tweets, is I would love to sit down there with you and say, well, this is what I meant by this and this is what I meant by that, but I can't do that. And most of them are just ugly and disgusting, and I don't know why I put them out there. But I wanted to make sure that I addressed all of the tweets that have been brought to my attention, and I want to address them all in one video. And then there was something else. There's like 5 more in here. One of the reasons why I didn't want to make this video was because no matter how many I read and I talk about, it's not going to really matter. I mean, people are going to continue to find more and more tweets or read into tweets or whatever. I can't convince you. I can't change your mind. But I'm not going to be a bullshit artist. I'm just not. So I was like, Peter, just get on video and just read the tweets and address them. You know, they are what they are.
Again, so are you saying the first video was you being a bullshit artist to us? This is the stuff I don't understand. So are you outing that your first video was just full of shit and just trying to get on with it and fuck everybody else, and you're having to explain it? I don't understand this, Peter.
If you've lost faith in me, I apologize. I think that my videos, since I've been on YouTube the last 2 years, if they speak anything of me whatsoever on 4 different channels, I think they show that's not who I am as a person. But I can't convince you of that. And there's a lot of people out there that have said to me, I'm really disappointed in you. You know, I can't follow you anymore. There's a lot of people out there that have said, we've all fucked up, we've made mistakes, you know, and moved on. There's a lot of people that have just straight up attacked me and put words on me and labels on me. And, you know, the reality is that when you choose to live in the public forum, that's what happens, you know? I don't know what else to do. So if there are other things that you want me to do, put it in the comment section below.
I'll tell you right now, I want you to address you putting out personal private information about your clients, because you seem to have conveniently left that one out, and to me that's the most disgusting one. The ones where you were really predatory and using them for laughs and views on Twitter. That's what I would like to see, Peter. When's that going to be addressed? And guys, he said put it in the comments. So if you're watching and you're as concerned as I am, why don't you go ahead and leave it in his comments. Hey Peter, what about your former clients you talked about? Disgusting. But let's leave some room for the benefit of the doubt. Maybe by the end of this video, which we're getting to, maybe he will say something about it. Who knows?
I plan to only post this video today, and then I plan to, and I will also post my vlog because it's already ready to be published. And then tomorrow I'm going to get back on here and do what I love to do, which is make videos. I'm not going to hide because of some really disgusting bullshit that I put out there in my past. I'm just not. Whether that was 2 years ago, whether that was 6 years ago, or 7 years ago. The timing on it and my age really don't make a difference. And I'm not going to get on here and excuse it away. I'm not going to make excuses for these tweets. They were disgusting. They were ugly. They should never have been put out there in the world. If I've offended you, if I've hurt your feelings, if I've made you lose faith in me, if I've, made you shocked or surprised, if I have specifically hurt any one person, there's some language in there other language, or was something in there that I said something to somebody about a tranny. That was the language that we used back then, but that's not okay. And we know better than that today. And when you know better, you do better. And that's how I try to live my life, is that when I fuck up in my life, I try to learn from it and move on. Not stay stuck in my fuck up, but learn from it and move on.
Real cute, Peter. You didn't let me move on. You made 8 fucking videos. You continued to make videos after I deleted my channel for severe harassment. So you added to my harassment, but you just want to be able to make 2 videos. The first one, which you're basically telling us you were bullshit artisting us, and the second one, you still haven't gotten into the client tweets. There are still things you didn't go over, Peter. So I know I'm repeating some of the same stuff, but it's incredible the amount of what I feel hypocritical horse shit still coming from him. So you get to go on and on and on and on and on and banter and banter and banter somebody else who finally even leaves the platform with everything I had going on, didn't care to correct the record, lied about wanting to help me, and then used me for laughs and views just like you did your other fucking clients. But you want to be able to have the ability to come on and, well, I'm just gonna go on and make videos and do my thing. Like, you should have no fucking repercussions whatsoever, no matter what you've done to other people.
I wouldn't use that word to somebody today. I just wouldn't, And this is what I'm saying, like, I didn't want to make the video and get on and address each tweet, because the more I address one, then it's like, oh, there's another one, and there's another one, and somebody's going to say, well, why didn't you address this tweet, and why didn't you address this tweet? So if there's a tweet that I didn't address, it's because it wasn't brought to my attention. I asked another channel to send me every tweet that they had. They sent me every tweet they had, and I just literally just read them off straight from her text. So, I apologize, If you want me to say I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that, because I don't believe in those words. This is what I did. I'm ashamed of it. I'm disgusted by it. I'm trying to learn from it, and I am learning from it and trying to be a better version of myself today. And, do my best to not ever put out this kind of negativity or ugliness in the world again. I've had a lot of shit happen to me in my life, a really disgusting stuff and nasty stuff and tragedies. And I've also had a lot of self-created tragedies and stuff in my life. And I learn the most through the shit that I go through or put myself through. And on my other channel, my Peterisms channel, I say all the time, I learned the most from my fuck-ups. I'm not proud of this. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. But I can't just sit and stay stuck anymore. I love making videos. I'm going to continue to make videos. If you think that I'm a hypocrite, that's fine.
You are a hypocrite, Peter. You are. I'd like to hear how you're not going to make videos anymore claiming how everybody else is racist when you said the N-word several times. That's what I would like to hear. Until I hear that you're going to stop going after people and being the SJW that you keep trying to be after what's in your closet, that's what I want to hear. Oh, still waiting for that apology to your clients. I hope it's coming.
I probably am to some degree, you know, now that I have these out there and then I've been calling all these people out. But I'm gonna continue to do drama videos because I love making drama videos. Does it mean that it'll change my perspective on how I look at people or how I speak of drama? Absolutely. I've changed my perspective a lot since I started making videos on YouTube by things that have happened to me. And I will continue to learn and grow, I hope, because that's the only chance I have on this planet, you know, and in this life, is to continue to grow and to learn. I hope you choose to stay with me for the ride. If you've lost faith in me, maybe down the road at some point, you'll come back and check back in. I hope you will. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
All right, I know this video's been really long, so I'll try to make this as short and sweet as possible. I'm so mad. Okay, first of all, no mention about his clients. Fuck his former clients. The predatory actions he did. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my other video where I talk about the tweets where he put out information and personal stories and mocked and insulted his former clients. It's disgusting. Nothing. Not one thing. Secondly, Peter, I actually appreciate you did own up to some stuff. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the end you said you're gonna do things differently. Do I believe that you will do things differently? No, I don't. I really don't. I think once you think this is blown over, you're gonna go back to being the, you know, passive-aggressive asshole Peter. That's what I think is gonna happen. Because we keep seeing the back and forth even in here, and you tried to bullshit artists before, per your words, per what you are saying in this. Do I think you're sorry? I think you're sorry you got caught. I think you feel bad. Like, I will say I think you feel bad if you hurt people. I'm not gonna completely say that you're just some crazy asshole who doesn't give a shit about people at all, but I think more than anything, like you said, I feel bad people lost faith in me. Translation, I think you feel bad that your reputation was damaged. That's what I think that means. Furthermore, Peter, I'm gonna tell you this right now, I still have 8 videos to respond to of yours, and I'm gonna respond to every one of them over time. And when people bring me things about you that I see are suspect, I'm gonna keep putting it out there. I'm gonna keep doing that until I get a formal apology for how you treated me. And you don't have to, I'm not holding my breath. So hey, in my opinion, I'm gonna keep doing this and I'm gonna rebuild my audience while I do this. The audience that you and others tried to take away from me. The platform you and others tried to take away from me. Remember, you said we shouldn't give me a voice to speak. We shouldn't give me a voice to speak when you said 1,000 times worse than I had apologized and you laughed in my face about it. So Peter, I'm gonna give you the same medicine you've given me. And the worst part was I was in the most darkest place in my life, being as ill as I was and having no help around me. Shame on you. Shame on you. By the way, I'm not trying to tell anybody else how to live. This is just a message to Peter. Not that I think he's gonna watch this, but shame on you. And it's not gonna stop, Peter. I'm gonna continue to expose who you are. You need to apologize to your former clients, and we need to know what you're gonna do to fix that, and I wanna hear an apology to me. A formal, good apology, not a bullshit artist apology, and I will know the difference. Something else I've noticed, and I can argue both sides on this, there's very little emotion in what he says. There's very little emotion. And on the one hand, if you do get on there and cry, people can say you're being manipulative, you know? But on the other hand, if you don't show any emotion at all, it just, I don't know, again, it seems like a PR stunt. Honestly, I'd rather see somebody cry. I mean, of course, not crazy cry, but I'd rather see somebody show some emotion than just be robotic. I'll just be honest, I don't believe most of this. I think he's just sorry he got caught, and he's sorry that his reputation got damaged. That's what I believe. That's my belief. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm being too hard on him, but here's the problem, guys. This is what I've learned about people like Peter and certain people. Peter knows better. Peter knows what he's doing, in my opinion. Not all the time, but the majority of the time. And as a result, Peter's the kind of person, I think, where you have to give him tough love. In fact, I think he's talked about, if I remember correctly, hearing a video, like when it comes to addicts and stuff, that's part of what you have to do. And I think for Peter to have to change, he has to get some tough love. So Peter, I'm gonna give you a lot of tough love because you decided in my worst fucking moment to give me a lot of really disgusting, tough shit that I still don't think I completely deserve from you after everything you put out. After everything you put out, Peter. So, that's my opinion. Also, guys, I want you to know, some of the things I'm saying are not 100% my opinion, and I want to explain what that means. It's not that I'm not standing by what I've said, but a lot of these things, I'm showcasing what a hypocrite he is. I'm showcasing his own hypocrisy. So, for instance, if he wants to act like an SJW, then he needs to apologize for the thug comment, because in the SJW world, that's almost as bad as calling somebody the N-word. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean I necessarily agree or don't agree. I'm just trying to show him the logic of what he says he believes in and where he's still being a hypocrite. So yeah, just to kind of put that out there. I'm not an SJW by any means. I'm not liberal. I'm not conservative, but I am somebody that I care about people. But I've also learned you gotta have a thick skin. You gotta put your defenses up sometimes, and sometimes people need tough love. And I think that's the kind of person Peter is. That's the kind of person Onision is. Oh God. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this series so far. Please leave a like if you do. Give me a comment, tell me your thoughts. And you guys know if you comment, typically within the first 2 or 3 hours, I try to respond to as many comments as I can, so you'll probably hear from me. Also subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see more content like this, because I will have more Peter videos coming out. It's unfortunate because every time I cover him, I just get mad. And it's like, you might think, well, why do it? Because I think it's important. I think it's important. And I think to his former clients that he was predatory towards, I think it's important. I think. I think. Okay, I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you soon. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Take care. Mwah. Goodbye.